let's start out with just a general question, because I know a bunch of the folks in the room, when I was at Disney, I thought of FreeWheel as an ad-serving platform for publishers. What the heck are you guys doing? What's the vision? Because you're more than that now. You got Strata, you've got creative services, you've got...
Most people do think of FreeWheel as, you know, the premium video ad server, sort of gold standard, but it is a lot more than that. FreeWheel is now, Comcast went out and acquired 5 different companies actually, including Visible World, Strata, which is agency, buy-side workflow tech for small and medium-sized agencies. A company called Sticky Ads, which is an SSP out of France, which we've now integrated with the MRM ad server, and a small company out of the UK called Addazzle, which we've tucked in under Strata. We renamed it all FreeWheel, so we do all of that now. So we are very focused primarily on, just sort of picking up on some of the themes that Nicole outlined, removing a lot of the fragmentation and friction that exists within the TV infrastructure and trying to make supply make sense. So we do decisioning, we're working with not just Comcast, but a wide range of distributors on addressable technology. We're unifying linear and digital, and working with a large variety of demand sources on different ways of accessing that supply and hopefully making life easier for marketers at the end of the day.
Explain to me what you mean by, what did you say? You're pulling together linear and digital, you're unifying linear and digital? Explain to me what that means.
Really simply, whether you're a programmer or you're a marketer, this is the last 2 conversations, right? It's very frustrating. You cannot run one campaign across TV. You cannot have it optimized in real time. You cannot get a report. You have to go hire an army of people to do that, right? Television is not a platform. It's a mess.
A mess?
Yeah. Okay. It is, hundreds of sales teams, different ways of selling, depending whether you're local or national, measurements all over the place. Comparatively, I mean, if you look at, a Google or a Facebook or an Amazon, yes, they're walled gardens, but they are unified tech and data platforms, and they can bring sort of a seamless solution to marketers. There's no question about that. TV is not that. So back to your question, first, programmers are sort of unified in wanting, look, help me run one campaign across my linear and digital environments, right? So FreeWheel serves against all digital environments, including set-top box VOD, 200 screens, and we're focusing a lot of our energy right now on decisioning within traditional linear environments, working with some of the other players in the space so that programmers can do that. So that's what I mean about unifying. And then you can connect between the programmers.
So I'm going to keep challenging and probing, because I think what's important for this room, we've got folks on the buy side, folks on the sell side, and a lot of people who sit in the middle. The point about removing friction, to me, is the biggest challenge that the industry has. And I still feel like we talk about things in terms of, you say, you make the case about linear and digital. The fact of the matter is most inventory still trades in television in a traditional unit linear model, and it's controlled by independent sellers, right? So,
correct.
Whether it's what we just heard about in the first session about what NCC is trying to do, I mean, more power to them. I commend them on what they're trying to do, but at the end of the day, they're still just the local avails on the MVPDs. I care about the national avails that the national networks control, because that's where the bulk of viewing occurs. I need that brought together with the local avails, with the digital avails.
Yes, you do.
Everything together on one platform, like you said, with Google and Facebook. I don't see that happening. I don't see how that's going to happen.
So I understand that feeling, Adam, because we've been talking about these things. By the way, we can add a lot of other things to the list, like when is the upfront going to change and blah, blah, blah. You can go back and look at the press around the TiVo launch in 1995, and it was like, this is the end of television. It's all going to change, right? It feels like we come together, we talk about the same themes. But being really close to the technology, I really think this is one of those things that, you're sort of like driving towards a mountain on the horizon. It doesn't look like you're ever getting close to it, and then one day it's right in front of you. There are massive investments right now going into the technology needed to clean this up. I think even just a year ago, the industry was not really talking about TV as a platform. Now it's all anybody's talking about. I would say the sort of state of affairs is that everybody, and Comcast included, we're all guilty of this. It's like, yes, we should all come and work together and create TV as a platform. Otherwise, the West Coast is going to come and have our lunch. As long as you use my stuff, that's kind of where we are now, right? As long as I can control it all. I think the next phase is, okay, let's stop at that and let's figure out who's best in class in which areas and how do we work together to kind of move the industry forward. But I think these things, I think that it's imperative that some of these things get done. Otherwise, I don't know how the advertising, the 70, 80 billion, whatever it is domestically, and by the way, 200 globally, survives.
So let's talk a little bit about the competitive space that you find yourselves in, that Comcast and FreeWheel find themselves in. So there have been a lot of announcements over the past year about movement towards platform-based offerings in the TV space, whether it's Xander, who's in the room, or things that a bunch of the networks are trying to do, what you're doing. Who's your competitor? Are you guys all going to work together to help us figure this out? Are you all going to compete with each other?
Are we on the record here?
How's this going to shake out?
My personal view, there's been a lot made in the industry press over the last couple of months in particular about like FreeWheel and Xander. I think that's a false narrative. And I think the Xander team would agree. We work really well with AT&T, and they're good at some things we're not good at, and vice versa. And I could see a path there to continued collaboration. I think the competition really is, Frank, with all due respect to our friends from California and Seattle, is with the platforms. And I think the industry is either going to figure it out or, be commoditized. And it's kind of one of two outcomes. You were joking about the Disney Google news.
I actually didn't say what it was.
Yeah, but we all knew, Adam.
You brought it up.
And listen, yeah.
Laura, do you have anything to say about it?
No.
Okay. You're not on camera.
I'm not going to talk about it except at the bar, but and I know both Laura and Chris really well. But look, I'm not. Two great companies. They make the decisions in their best interest, of course. And I won't comment on that, but I will say that it's undeniable that Google now is a massive beachhead in the industry. There's no question about it, and I think that's something we all kind of have to think about. So.
All right, 5 quick questions, yes or no answers only.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think, Andy, are we pretty much coming to the end here? Okay. Will consumers ultimately own their own data and have control over it?
No.
Will Facebook, Google, and Amazon win the long-term video battle over TV?
No.
Can the flight to non-ad-supported SVOD be stopped?
That's not a yes or no question.
Yeah, it is. It actually is.
I think it's.
That's a no.
It's a no. It's
a no.
Yeah, it's like saying, can the sunrise be stopped? But it's an odd question.
Do you believe all video will be ad-served dynamically within a decade?
Yes.
All of it?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I threw this one in just because your parent company is in Philadelphia. Are the Eagles going to repeat?
Not a chance.
Okay.
I wish, but no.
Thank you, Dave.